Climate change is the biggest threat facing humanity, and workers are at the front line. From a farmer in Spain to a miner in Poland, climate change affects us all. We are all on the same train. We know changes are needed to tackle climate change, but how can this be done in a way that's fair to all of us and doesn't threaten workers' rights and quality jobs? The climate change train left its platform in the 18th century with the Industrial Revolution. We didn't even realize it had departed from the station, but the fumes that have built our modern lives have been steadily increasing the Earth's temperature, and now payback time is beginning. If we carry on increasing the Earth's temperature above 2 degrees, we multiply the consequences we are already suffering. We could become one of the 300,000 people, including those in tourism and infrastructure builders, who will be affected each year by flooding. We could be a farmer struggling with acres of thirsty crops. In fact, an area of land twice the size of Germany is likely to be affected by drought if we take no action. We could be a firefighter or a wood factory worker affected by the wildfires that are expected to burn 800,000 hectares of forest in Europe. Or we could become one of the over 100,000 people, including port workers, traffic wardens, or aquaculture workers, who will meet early deaths each year due to respiratory diseases, heat stroke, or waterborne diseases. Of course, climate change will have different impacts depending on where you live. Southern and Central Europe will see more intense heat waves, forest fires, and droughts. The Mediterranean will become tinder dry, while Northern Europe will become wetter and more prone to flooding. Global warming will also impact the economy. Agriculture will be on the front line, but sectors like energy will suffer from changes in demand. Transport could be affected by more frequent storm-damaged infrastructure, and the tourist industry will need to face up to the consequences of extreme weather conditions. Droughts in the region like sub-Saharan Africa and the Pacific will affect the security of supply of commodities we are dependent on, like rice, cotton, and sugar. The damage could add up to a €190 billion bill each year, 20% more than the EU budget for 2017. Outside of Europe, the consequences of climate change are even deeper and more widespread. Worse, droughts in these regions will have serious humanitarian consequences. This train is heading towards disaster. But we could travel along the low emissions pathway, one where emissions peak before 2020, the only way to give the planet the chance to keep the below 2 degrees goal. The world's decision makers have taken a step in the right direction. Half of the world's countries, including the whole of Europe, signed a climate change agreement in Paris to keep temperature rise well below 2 degrees Celsius and to continue efforts to keep it under 1.5 degrees, to submit national contributions to cut emissions and to increase their ambition every 5 years, to provide climate finance to developing countries, to put in place a just transition of the workforce and the creation of decent work and quality jobs. Transition will bring more opportunities in renewable energy, circular economy products, energy-efficient buildings, and new public transport. Innovation must take place in traditional industries like steel, automobiles, and chemicals. Other industries like coal mining will have to face up to the challenges of change. But if the process of change is not properly designed, it may also bring social collateral damages. A badly managed transition could mean widespread and unplanned job losses, massive hikes in energy prices, rising taxes, and workers' rights to quality jobs cast aside. Social unrest could derail the train. A peak in global emissions can happen soon. Richer countries can support poorer ones, as it says in the Paris Agreement. We need a just transition. That's one that makes sure that the policies that will build a greener world respect workers' rights. and does not leave industrial jobs regions behind. Governments and local authorities need to write robust policies that help channel investment into a greener future that ensures workers' rights and that jobs make the transition. We need to learn new skills. We need new green technologies. We need to participate and manage the change our industries must go through. This means social dialogue within enterprises and at regional, national, and sectorial levels, enhancing the social protection system and strengthening our rights so nobody is left behind. Trade unions will be backing workers all the way throughout this change, listening to their concerns, building consensus, and striving to ensure that workers have access to quality, secure jobs. With workers' rights respected and quality jobs, we can keep our train on the green track and meet the climate change goal set in Paris.